Hey, 6 listeners. Welcome to the Elixium Podcast. We have Ivana Wilkin here with us, and we are going to talk about a slew of things that are going on in her life and things that she's doing that could benefit you guys. Ivana,
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited for this. This is very much overdue.
Yes, it is. I think we've talked about this for like the last year.
Yep.
So this is awesome. So I hear you just moved to Texas.
Yes.
How's that?
Well, you know what they say, everything's bigger in Texas.
That's what I've heard.
You come there and you act like you've been a Texan your whole life and you haven't. So
Is that right?
It's great. I mean, the environment is amazing where we're living, and we're just north of Houston.
Okay.
So a lot of big changes from Florida for sure. The people, the culture, but they got this thing there called HEB, the best grocery store you've ever been in your life.
Really?
Oh my gosh. It has like 48 aisles in each of those.
48 aisles.
It's insanity. Anything you can think of.
No kidding.
I think it's more for me. It's like a lot of local farmers.
Yeah.
So the meat
That's
is
nice.
half the price.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, big changes. We love it. A lot of new things going on in our lives. We're actually partnering up with someone to open up a gym in January.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yes.
huge.
Yep. I think about 38,000 square feet is what it'll be. Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be sick.
So lots of
you and Brett
changes.
are partnering up with someone for that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man.
We got the
gonna be
Olympia
sick.
coming up. Brett's going to be competing most likely at I think it's the France show. I think in France,
Okay.
I believe. But before the Olympia, he's
Yep.
already qualified.
Yep.
But just to he's got a new coach. So to kind of just get things running before the Olympia. So we got that going on. A lot of things, a lot of new changes, a new home. And
That's
yeah.
huge.
Mhm.
So it was the move to Texas for the gym aspect, or was it just kind of, because I know Martin's there too.
Yeah, he just follows. I
Yeah.
hope he hears this.
Yeah.
He's
gonna be like,
a
yeah.
follower. No, I'm kidding. Well, no, that's kind of where we run the Butcher Bomb out of. So we
Okay,
wanted to
cool.
be close to the warehouse
Yeah.
and kind of just be more hands-on with things. And then everything just kind of fell in place. We found a really great friend that business partner that's become a friend that we've just been working with. He kind of helped us. He helped us with the Butcher Bomb.
Okay.
So it just kind of, I mean, I think it was just time. And I think we've always said that we'd probably end up there.
Nice.
And yeah, so now I've lived in Colorado and Florida and now Texas. So
Yeah.
if anyone needs any advice, please ask.
And before that, you were in Iowa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brett was born and raised in Iowa, but
Yeah.
so
That's, you've got
Mhm.
all the experiences,
yeah, I think it's
at least
great.
in the States.
For
so.
some people, some people stay in the same state their whole life,
That's
but
true.
it's
My wife.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely given us a lot of opportunities, a lot of connections, and I think it just builds you so differently from the inside out because you're having to adapt to new change, new friends. I mean, everything just changes.
Yeah.
So, and you start all over. But I think I've gotten pretty good at it because when
Yeah.
I left Colorado, I tell you, I was miserable. 'Cause
Really?
I loved it here so much. And I think it was a community of people.
Yeah.
I think that's what's hardest to leave always.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You guys definitely had a big community, especially
Mhm.
with being involved at Armbrust. I mean, that's a community in itself.
Yeah.
And then, the extended community with just the industry that you're in. I could see how that would be tough to leave.
Yeah. And
For sure.
here I am still working with you guys.
That's true.
So
Yeah, you still
that
have
says a lot.
quite a few ties.
Mhm,
So,
right.
yeah. No, that's totally fair. So talk to me about the Butcher Bomb.
Yeah. So the Butcher Bomb it's been going very well. It is a muscle bomb for joint and muscle relief. Truthfully, if I have migraines, it's the number one thing I use. But what we've discovered with it actually is been helping athletes with acne. So I think it's the BPC 157 that's been making people's acne clear up.
Oh, shit.
So that's a lot of the reviews actually we've been getting from,
That's
especially
insane.
from bodybuilders.
And is it just
Especially
BPC 157?
No,
Is that all that's
and
in
then
it?
it's TB 500.
Oh, and then there's the TV 500. right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's a topical.
Topical. Yep.
And they're just putting it on. Do they put it on their face?
Most body acne.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fair.
Yeah, just body acne is
Okay.
what we've experienced with.
Yeah.
Now going further,
That's
we don't.
insane.
But we've obviously realized that it's helping with inflammation.
Yeah,
But I literally tell you, migraine, like nothing helps. Butcher Bomb does it for me.
no kidding.
Yeah.
And you just rub it like on the temples?
On
Or
my
do you-
temples, on the
neck?
back of my
Yeah.
neck, and then I just get a nice hot pad and migraine's gone. Otherwise, I can take all the ibuprofen, nothing. So yeah, it's been great and it's been going really well, and
That's
we're
huge.
continuing to expand it. It's been growing, and
Yeah.
we've kept it small, where we haven't been, going into bigger distribution with it, but that is the goal eventually.
Mhm.
But we just like where we are with it right now, and
Yeah.
don't change things when they're working, right? So
it's fair.
It's
You
been
can push
good
the
right
envelope a little
now.
bit, but yeah.
Slowly, we're pushing the envelope
Yeah,
at the right
I feel you.
time.
Yeah. Are you guys primarily just marketing in the bodybuilding community?
No.
Is that the primary, or is it athletes everywhere?
It's really been athletes everywhere.
Okay.
So and it's just kind of taken off. And honestly, as weird as it sounds, like it's been taken off with like word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
Definitely has.
when it's
Like our
good.
pastor at church has been asking about it, and we're like, oh, this is good. A
Heck
good
yeah.
sign. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I heard you guys have this, yada yada. I'm like, yeah. So and it's, you know what? It's really grown in the judging panel community of the IFBB, which is really neat to see.
That's cool.
That's rarely happens.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good for you guys. That's awesome. All right. So you have just started on a gut protocol recently. It's been what, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
5 weeks?
Yeah, it's about. I'm almost about 5 weeks.
Okay. Yep. So you got the gut test done, met with Alyssa, and then have been on this protocol for about 5 weeks. How's that going?
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's like my baby right now. It's like the number one thing I talk to, even if I meet random strangers at random places. Somehow the conversation goes immediately to that.
That's
I think,
crazy.
yeah, I know. But seriously, it's not talked about enough. And
No, it's not.
if it is talked about, it's been like, it's almost like broad, but really if you break it down, and I think Alyssa did such a fantastic job, and that's so important because I do know other gut specialists in the industry that everybody kind of goes to and gravitates towards. And this is something her and I were talking about. But the way she explained things was very important for me. But that was the easiest thing I've ever done, and the biggest progress I've seen from my physical and mental health, because I was having such bad bloating. That's kind of what caused me to do a GI map. I think everyone should do a GI map, especially if you've never done one in your life. But for me personally, what led me to do that was I was having weird, awkward pains in my stomach, and I'm somebody that like can eat anything, digest anything. So I'm like, something must be off.
Yeah.
So, and I was surprised that I scored an 84% on that. I was like, wow, that was great, because I literally don't feel like I've been taking care of myself. But with that being said, I wanted to really discuss the importance of probiotics. I feel like that's a huge misunderstanding, because now in the market, there's all these commercials about probiotics, but really, and this is how I've been kind of explaining it to people, and maybe you can elaborate more, but you can't just take any probiotic. Okay.
That's true.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that I never really fully understood either. Especially when these gut protocols became popular, you're like, okay, well, I want to refer a probiotic to my client. Definitely something you should not do. And if your coach is doing that, you should not do that until you actually have a GI map reading. And for me, that was very eye-opening, because it's like, and the reason behind that is building up bad bacteria in your gut with the wrong probiotic. I mean, you are killing off bacteria, and then you're building up bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know which bacteria is the issue. And, that's why I'm like, please get a GI map. And you guys are doing such a great job with actually being able to make it affordable for people.
That's the goal.
That's the problem,
Yeah.
because a lot of other companies I've ran into, or athletes I've come to talk to me about it before you guys kind of started getting further into it. It was like $300 some dollars. And people are like, well, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Because, then you're buying the supplements, and then you're looking at even more money. So yeah. And it's so simple.
Yes.
I literally read the instructions. Like, I was an idiot like 10 times, because I'm like, that's all I have to do.
Yeah.
Because
have you done one before?
No, I had never
No,
done one before.
But you probably heard about
yes.
what you actually have to do.
I was so nervous.
Yeah. That was
like,
my biggest thing.
maybe I won't do one.
Yeah. Because gut has always been like at the forefront of
Yeah.
our mind is, okay, well, we really, really need to find a solid gut test, solid diagnostic that we can utilize. That one is fairly inexpensive, at least affordable. Because you go to GI Mapping, which is another company, or
Yep.
Vibrant. I mean, you're looking at $500 to $800 for just the diagnostic testing, and I'm like, that's not something that I can really push to people and say like, is it genuinely going to help? Absolutely, but at the end of the day, it's like $800 and then the protocol on top of that.
Yeah.
So that could be, $100 to a couple $100 to start. At least on the protocol itself, it was outrageous. I couldn't get behind it. And then it was just the stool sample itself. It's like, they want a full stool sample.
I know.
And that is daunting.
Yeah. So how'd you guys
everyone.
come up with such a simple method?
Well, I found it was a friend of a friend who ended up introducing me to the owner of Vitract. So she started it.
Okay.
And she's out of Canada. And I was like, yeah, I'll talk to her. And he's like, it's a swab. And automatically I'm like, a saliva swab? Like that is so
No.
weird. Cause I automatically go to a swab as like saliva, like a cheek swab.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, if she can get a whole gut test from a cheek swab like that is revolutionary. And so I talked to her. She's like, no, it's a stool swab. And I'm like, still not bad, but worse than the cheek swab. And then just talking to her, I'm like, I would have to see the reporting. I would have to see the data behind it, because it doesn't make sense that I need a full stool over here, but over here, I just need like a slight swab. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. And she's like, all right, let's do it. And so we tested like a handful of people just to see. I sent it to a dietitian and I was like, hey, she actually works through GI mapping. So I'm like, I need you to double check this test, see like, are the analytics good or is the data good? She's like, it seems solid to me. And so I was like, all right, cool. Like we're going to run with this. And it was affordable. So,
you know, to add to it, what I loved about the results is like, first of all, so extensive, like, wow. But at the end of the pages, it gave you links to better articles for a better understanding of what is going on and how, you know, because Alyssa's like, it's going to be overwhelming. Well, I'm like, good. I'm glad it's going to be overwhelming because that means it's extensive and that's what I need.
Right.
But at the bottom of it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's links to like further educate yourself and what you can do and why this might be, you know, all of these things. I'm like, wow. They really, and so easy to access, so easy to send in. No, I've been encouraging my friends. I'm like, do a GI map. I mean, I think it totally is your identity. Your gut is your identity.
It is.
Like, I think I'm so much more into the gut now than I'm even into hormones. Like, your hormones are great, but like your gut is going to be the priority.
Yeah. So
like with some new clients now, I'm like, hey, you know what? I think we look at your gut first, and then we can go from there and look at your hormones. You know, of course, you want to get both done. Both are essential, but your gut. It's like you're having bloating. Well, you need it. Yeah. So since starting the protocol, I mean, within like the first 72 hours, I'm like, oh my gosh, that awkward pain is gone. Like it was just like literally, I think that the buildup of bacteria was just so intense, and I didn't even realize
what were the issues that Alyssa had? Do you remember?
I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't know extensively word for word.
Because it obviously wasn't extensive enough to be like leaky gut or anything like that.
No.
Because you scored an 84. Yeah. So it was just an imbalance of the bacteria within the gut that was causing these issues.
I should add this, that for me personally, David, my whole life, like I've been so adamant about like always, you should as a human being always have control of your gut, right? You should, you're sitting down, you should feel like your stomach is almost stuck to the back of your back, right? Yeah. That's called not having bloating. Yeah. So I was not wanting any bloating. I mean, we shouldn't have any bloating. And I know the foods that we eat are tremendously going to impact that. And obviously my diet has been better and all of that stuff. But even days off when I'm just eating whatever I want, having fun with family and friends,
nothing.
No bloat. No, nothing.
Yeah.
So, it was nothing like leaky gut. It was nothing that was, crazy, but it was enough for me to be like, okay, I don't want to feel like this.
Yeah.
And then the inflammation, holy shit. What was it within like, was it 7? I don't even remember how many days. I lost 7 pounds. I posted it, or 5. Oh, yeah, I lost 5 pounds in like the first week.
Yeah,
and
it was. Yeah.
Like I went from 144 to 137. I'm like, I haven't been 137 in so long. And I wasn't losing weight. That was just inflammation in my body.
Yeah.
Like that speaks
inflammation,
volumes.
Water retention, just due to the inflammation. I mean, yeah, that's just crazy.
And then of course, talking about bowel movements and digestion, like bowel movements like tremendously changed within those 72 hours.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I'm loving it. I'm that person that I was like, hey, I read the protocol and it was 18 weeks. So I was like reading into week 9 and 10 and 11. Yeah. She's like, you can order these supplements later. I'm like, oh no, I need to order them now because I was freaking out. I'm like, wait, I'm missing this. She's like, no, Ivana, this isn't until like 10 weeks.
Yeah.
But it was exciting. Yeah. But yeah, I do want to give Alyssa another shout out because she was just so thorough and like, oh my gosh.
She's good.
And I love the note taking that she does. Yes, she's very, very good.
She's a note taker. For sure.
I love note takers.
You should go into her office.
Oh, really?
Like each patient has like at least 3 or 4 written pages of notes. And I'm like, you could just like, we use AI, like AI can hear the conversation. So I'm like, we have AI, like you can just kind of use that as your tool. But no, she like writes everything down. And
it does something to the brain though. Like
it
when
must.
You're actually, yeah.
It must.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
But to elaborate a little bit more with the gut health, I mean, another reason why I was like, okay, I really wanted to get all my ducks in a row was because, you know, when we do plan to, well, first I've had a child, plan to have another child. Like those things are so important because her and I also got into talking about obviously postpartum. And I feel like there's a lot of misleading things about postpartum. And I feel like you were a really big part of my life during that time. And, you know, my OB is like, oh, you're fine. You're supposed to experience all these things. No, you're not. This is why women get so depressed after having a child. That's why we have access to clinics and like this to be able to be like, okay, my levels have severely crashed. And instead of taking a year to get them back, let's figure out what we can do more. You know, natural remedies to, you know, obviously TRT to HRT, whatever it is for you, it's important. Yeah. If your thyroid's completely crashed out, it's important for you to get that figured out as soon as you can. And so that you can have a more optimal life so that you can be a mom to your newborn that's going to be up all night. And that was 100%. One thing I was like, I don't like, you know, and I had a lot of new clients that were pregnant. I'm like, I never thought I'd have a client that I was watching progress into pregnancy. But that was so great for me because I was like, you know what? You don't have to go through all this postpartum. Sure, you're going to go through changes, but there's things that we can do about it. And it's not talked about enough. My OB's like, yep, okay, now time to get on birth control and go and just be miserable. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of that. I need to reset my body and I need to know what's going on now. Yeah. You know? No,
you're absolutely right. And I think there's a lot associated with that when it comes to breastfeeding. Because it's like, all right, well, don't do anything because you're breastfeeding. So like, what can you do? What should you do? What's going to affect the baby through breastfeeding? What's not? Because like you said, I mean, pregnancy is like the most traumatic event that you can go through. Like the trauma that your body has gone through is significant. Yep. So to be able to go in and be able to actually balance those things out postpartum would be huge and is huge. But yeah, the impacts on breastfeeding is still something that we go back and forth on.
It's a gray area for sure.
OBs have their obviously say in it and they're on that opposite end of where we're at. But it's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of up to the person as to whether they want to take that leap and more of balancing their life. Because I 100% agree with you. If mom is not fully there, which happens more often than not, that first 3 months it's rough for sure.
Yeah. And of course I will add and say, agree with you. Yeah. Of course, when you're breastfeeding, it is a very gray area. And I mean, those are just decisions that you get to make, you know,
100%.
But if you're not, that's something you're not doing, like that is an immediate thing that you should get on is being like, hey, getting my blood work done. I want to get this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I definitely felt like that was the reason I had such a fast bounce back was once I was done breastfeeding, and I only breastfed for a short amount of time, which breastfeeding is great, but it can also affect your mental health a lot if you're not sleeping. And it's just, so after I was done, I'm like, okay, I wanted to immediately get in contact with you guys and see what was going on. And that within those first few months, I'm like, my body was better than what was before I even got pregnant. That's
crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's really important to talk about that, you know, just because you've had a baby does not mean that you need to go through all these things.
No. I mean, women lose years of their lives. I mean, the amount of women that we've talked to, it's like, after having the baby, I just haven't been able to shed the weight and my mental health hasn't been the same. It's like, how old are they? Well, they're 8. I'm like, so you've just let it go for 8 years because you're a mom and that's just what you go through after having kids? It's like, no, that's not the case. Like, you're still a human being.
They say, it takes 2 years to like bounce back to feel like yourself again.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Like, I don't have
2 years to waste.
I was like, okay, 9 months in, 9 months out. Like, I'm going to do this within the first 9 months. And I think that was a good.
Were you successful with the 9 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I set a goal. I'm like, hey, set a goal. I think that's important too. Obviously, I did that that fit model thing that, or not, what is it called? Those angel fashion shows that they do at the shows now. Yeah. I did that for fun just to get back in shape and like kind of have a timeline for myself. Too, I'm like, okay, and that was right at 9 months. Yeah. But just a goal. I think a goal is good too. But anyways, but I think also hormonal talk can be very hard for people, very uncomfortable for people. And it has personally for me. And I think, you know, I've been with you guys for so long now because, you know, I told Brad, like I could never go somewhere else because of the comfort level of just like being brutally honest and being able to, and I think it's more of the connection of the size of the company and what you guys have been doing and the consistency. The consistency is very big for me. When it comes to hormonal, I don't like all these changes. It's like, okay, I know who I'm talking to almost every single time, and it's very direct and the communication's direct. And your dad does such a great job with follow-up emails, which I really like for my clients that come out to you guys. But I think that's really important to also talk about because some people are uncomfortable and they don't want to know. Or they don't understand what any of these things mean. And a lot of these places are just like, okay, well, this is what's going on. This is how much it's going to cost you. And you're like, I don't even know what that means. I need explanation.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. And that's something we've consistently been working on is that price transparency is huge and understanding like what the price is directly associated with. Because you can list out a slew of things that nobody understands what you're talking about. Say the price and they're like, I don't even really know what I'm getting for that price. Like, and being out of pocket and not being insurance based. I mean, you come from healthcare that essentially tells you exactly what you're going to do. And then essentially like insurance is going to take care of it because I'm specifically giving you all of these reactive markers or these reactive protocols to be able to fix whatever the issue is, which insurance will take care of. I mean, that's the model we're used to, is being told, this is what you're doing. Like there's no other option. You're sick. This is what you do for it. You have an issue with, brain fog, mental health. We're going to put you on an SSRI. This is how much it's going to cost through insurance. Like, all right, see ya.
I know.
And that's not what we provide. We're very like, all right, here are some options. Here are some prices. And then it's like people actually have to make a decision. They're on their own. And that's something that I don't think people are used to yet.
Yeah, which I like that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I prefer it. I think people should be in control, but a lot of people aren't used to that. And some people don't even want to be in control. They want to be told like, just tell me what I need to do and then I'll just do that. So.
Yeah. And I think you guys have created a really great access to, to many people around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's getting better. It's always improving. That's all we can do. So, but going back to the gut health side, you're 5 weeks in. Do you know what the products were that you were taking that she had you take?
Oh yeah, there's a slew of them.
Are there?
No, there's like 6.
6 for the first bout, and then they decrease.
And
right?
and we did some things that we were just like, oh hey, like if you're taking Armor Thyroid, she's like, this is which was really nice of her as well. Was to be like, hey, taking sea moss is a great way to just support the thyroid as well. And so which was really nice that I was able to talk to her about, hey, like I'm also taking this right now. Is this going to affect the gut protocol, or how can we make this better for me? So so it'll go from. I will be on, I think, 8 weeks on the probiotic, killing off the bacteria. And then we're going to build up some good bacteria. And like I said, feeling amazing. I haven't missed a single day.
Good.
And I've been so bad about taking care of myself because we've been moving and traveling the last 6 months. So this was a really big step and a huge difference for me.
That's huge.
Huge difference for me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, So it's 18 weeks. I also wanted to discuss that because some people are like, 18 weeks? Well, it's like, I always say, think how long it took to get your gut to where it is.
It didn't happen overnight.
To be absolutely shit.
Yeah.
And think how long it has to take to get it back to fully repaired.
Yep.
If you're doing a gut protocol for 6 weeks or not, that's just, you need something extensive and something that you can continue doing. So that was really important for me. When she said 18 weeks, I was like, okay, I'm in.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes that to prepare the body.
And you're right. I mean, it didn't happen overnight.
No.
So this is years and years of, imbalances or just, you're eating, and we can only be as healthy with our foods as we possibly can in the States.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
And, even so, I think a lot of people their questions like, well, how do you think you got this bacteria? Which is like a question that you can look at and be like, are you serious? Or are you okay, let me elaborate more with, just, it could be the quality of water. It could be
anything.
Anything. Yeah. Obviously, it's coming from food. And some people are like, well, I eat really clean. I eat this. It's not about that. It's the quality of our food that we eat nowadays.
Yeah.
That's why I say a gut protocol is absolutely for everyone. Mm-hmm. It's not because I was having symptoms. It's literally for everyone. Sometimes you don't even know that there's things going on in your stomach until you actually acknowledge and all of that. So I think that's really important. Some people are just like, well, I feel fine. Do you?
100%.
Or are you so used to feeling the way you feel?
Thing. Yeah.
And you have forgotten that you can feel so much better.
Exactly.
So
let me show you what optimized feels like.
And so, I mean, just to share, and I know I kind of shared it on social media, but basically how the protocol works, or not the protocol, but the kit, you get a kit in the mail. And as I can remember correctly, you get a kit in the mail. You're literally wiping and you're swabbing and you're putting it in a little test tube and you're closing it up, shipping it back out. So it's literally
super easy.
And and you got your little kit number on there that you keep, and then eventually I got an email and that everything was in and ready. So that's all it is. I want to explain that to people because people are like, well, you have to do this and this. No, that's all you have to do at home.
Yeah, it is super easy. Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah, it definitely is. I wanted to touch on the probiotic thing because that's huge. And the fact that probiotics are I think I talked to a dietitian recently. I think it's like one of the number one supplements sold, and you can get them anywhere. Everyone takes one consistently. It's like the number one thing that anyone takes, next to probably vitamin D, which is solid. That we've actually gotten to where vitamin D is more of a priority than it used to be. But yeah, the probiotic thing is a killer because you don't know what bacteria is, what the imbalance is. You don't know what bacteria is overgrown, what bacteria is actually depleted. So by throwing, 40 billion bacteria into your gut and not understanding what the actual label indicates the bacteria that you're now putting in your gut through the probiotic, now you're just causing even more of an imbalance.
Right.
Just by throwing the probiotic in there. So it's understanding like, all right, what probiotic specifically do I need? Because what bacteria do I need to replenish versus what bacteria do I need to essentially eliminate the overgrowth is, that's the key. That's what the cause of bloating. That's going to cause higher inflammation. That's then going to cause that's then going to cause autoimmune diseases in the future, potentially.
Definitely.
Which is, and then going back to your point about hormones, it's all cyclical. So hormone imbalances can potentially be an imbalance in the gut.
Yes. With the probiotics, going back to that, isn't it just crazy how they have been pushing it on children?
Oh, God. The things that they push on children.
I'm like, also now you say that's like one of the, I know.
Dude,
it's the worst thing you can give your child.
Yeah.
But with the probiotics, it's like, oh my gosh, like they're giving children all these probiotics and there's nothing behind it. And I'm like, why would a child need a probiotic? Their body should be doing exactly what they need right now. It should be, right?
And there's natural things that you could be doing.
Yes.
Diversifying their foods.
Yes.
Understanding what foods are more inflammatory than others. There are so many things. Granted, it's hard because I do have a 5-year-old. So I do understand the fact that most parents are sitting there going, yeah, but my daughter only eats chicken nuggets. Like that's the staple. That's the only thing I can get her to eat. Otherwise, she's not going to eat. So diversity is like not a thing. But at some point you have to make diversity somewhat tolerable to the child. You have to get them to eat a diverse group of food. You can't just get them to eat one thing and one thing only just because that's the only thing that they're going to eat.
I'm looking forward to that stage, David, where you can say you're sitting here all day until you finish your food.
We do that on a regular basis.
Oh, I know. They just go through those phases.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My daughter is the most distracted person ever. Mm-hmm. So it literally takes like 2 hours to eat food.
Yeah, my daughter likes to walk around and eat.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I don't care. Just do whatever you want to do because I just need you to eat.
I don't understand that. But I guess I probably did that at one point.
I know. So. That's something. Oh, this was probably me here.
Yeah.
But going back to you mentioned autoimmune.
Yeah.
Have any of your GI maps been, or have you had GI map ratings where it's kind of led to you to start seeing, hey, like there might be an autoimmune thing going on?
I don't think you can see that from the gut test itself. You would have to probably test.
There's been no marker shown that you could be like, that is gut related that you could refer back to autoimmune. And I know autoimmune is such a hard topic.
Yeah, because there's, I don't even.
Crazy.
1,000 different autoimmune diseases technically. that you can get. And I know that there's some genetic component to it, but at the same time, most of it's inflammatory, and we're chronically inflamed as a society. So, and most of the inflammation is from the gut, stems from the gut.
That's why I wanted to ask you. Okay.
Yeah. So I would say the inflammatory marker itself would be an indication of, okay, if you've had this chronic inflammation for X amount of time, there's a chance that an autoimmune disease of some sort could be stirring up. But there's no like specific indication. Like we can actually test in blood work. There are some markers that you can pull to indicate, okay, there is an autoimmune disease. Like you have something going on. Whereas in the gut, it's more just the inflammatory markers themselves, I would say.
Have you guys been a bit focused on autoimmune with through your blood work with clients? Or?
We have. Hashimoto's is our biggest because it's probably the most prevalent. And it's the most insane thing. The people that have come to us and we find that they have Hashimoto's and they're like, I have been going to my primary care for 15 years and been treated with levothyroxine and liothyronine for this, hypothyroidism. And in reality, it's like, well, that's not doing anything at all. You still have Hashimoto's. Like, we need to put this into remission. And there's very specific protocols to get that into remission. And that in itself changes people's lives. But the fact that they don't catch it, like you'd think if someone's been chronically having to increase their doses and change their dosing for this hypothyroidism, would you not just check a TPO? It's one marker.
Okay, I know.
It is one marker that you need to pull. That is it.
So even if you're, because I know, a lot of women will test positive for ANA, but have.
Yes, they can.
But have no autoimmune.
Yes.
And it's still a very gray area because you can test positive but it needs to, that's why I'm like, some people are like, oh, I have autoimmune. It's like, no, you need more extensive testing than just saying that you're ANA positive, because you can definitely be ANA positive and not really have any association with autoimmune. And
it's super vague. It's like an ANA is showing that you might have an autoimmune disease, but it's like, then what?
I know.
What's the actual autoimmune disease? Because there's so many overlapping signs and symptoms that it's like, well, is it Hashimoto's? Is that because that's something we can at least pull a marker and be like, all right, this is probably the cause, or this is the autoimmune disease. But again, it's one of those things, like if we corrected the gut early, I bet you the autoimmune disease would not persist. If we correct the gut, even with the Hashimoto's, that's what I want to know.
Okay.
If we truly correct the gut with Hashimoto's, can we put that into remission without needing the thyroid medication? At least at the high dose that we need. That I don't know.
Well, I'm never going to be as experienced as Alyssa or Indy on the gut, because they're incredible. And I know she's like, oh, you're learning every day, but it's fascinating.
Oh yeah,
because you can really relate everything back to it.
Yeah.
I mean, for Brett, when he was experiencing his gut issues, I mean, after he did a protocol, I mean, he was a whole nother person.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh. Like literally your gut has been the issue this whole time, which has arised other issues. And that's the thing. It's like, okay, yeah, you do have this, but again, you can relate everything back to your gut.
Yeah. And I mean, I can only imagine the bodybuilding community and what that could do.
Right.
Because if you they don't eat a diverse group of food.
Nope.
Like that's not a thing. You can't. And I'm not even, there's no other alternative to that. You have to eat what you need to eat in order to get on stage and perform your best. That's what you need to do. Yep. And I know those guys, and they're going to do anything and everything they need to do it. Right. Even blend up chicken.
And drink it in front of you.
Yeah.
Great.
It's, if they just could do a gut protocol, and I don't even know how often they would need to do it.
Yeah, that's okay. I wanted you to talk about that.
Because that is something I would love to do research on, is figuring out, all right, if we did it twice a year, could we keep them at equilibrium consistently? Because they're inflamed regardless. Mm-hmm. I mean,
definitely.
There are so many things that go into that.
Yep.
So if we can keep the inflammation in the gut low and stop, obviously, what's the word? If we stop if we stop increasing inflammation in the gut, then I guess that could potentially decrease inflammation elsewhere. But either way, I think that that's something that we need to definitely look into.
Okay, here's a question. Are bodybuilders able to be in prep for a show while on a gut protocol?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm. It's a question I get a lot.
That is a fantastic question. I mean, I would say yes, because if we're decreasing inflammation, we're decreasing water retention. And I can't imagine that, I mean, they're going to be able to eat probably better without the bloating, and probably introduce foods that they probably eliminated during the prep.
So if we're saying yes, I mean, if someone
hypothetically,
yeah, if we are saying yes, and someone's asking, would you say then, hey, probably the best at the beginning of prep rather than towards the end of the prep? That's a question. It's like, hey, I'm in the middle of prep. It's like, I think yes, it's appropriate, probably most likely for during a prep, but would probably be optimal time to do it at the beginning of your prep.
I would say,
and not being like, hey, I'm 8 weeks out, I'm gonna do a gut protocol.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on how that person preps, because there are probably things that they're also doing that are completely counterintuitive to gut health.
Of course.
So that's a hard one. Is like, all right, I'm doing a gut protocol while also putting all of this stuff into my body. That's where I don't know. Like, is it going to completely contradict what you're doing? And it's like, well, that was a complete waste, because these substances are harsher than the supplements that I'm putting into my body. That I
could
don't
it create? I mean, yeah, that's one thing I wonder. Is like, could it create a little bit of more balance? I mean, even if maybe give them a little bit more something during the prep, because it is hard on your body.
Yeah. I will actually. Indy would probably be the person to talk to, because she deals with bodybuilders enough that I think she'd be able to say, like, so you'd be wasting your time, or absolutely, like, if you can at least balance those things out. I wouldn't know, like, the substances that they're putting into their body for that specific reason, if it would actually not make those as beneficial, which would be a problem. So there's like so many issues, especially at the level like your husband's at. It's like that's a hard one, because you can't screw that up.
No.
Yeah, if you're on stage at the national level, or even just like as a pro, that's just,
he is, though, I will say, if we're talking about bodybuilding aspect, he is a great example of now, that he has gone through a gut protocol in the past, and he is very adamant of taking care of his gut. It's incredible that, he can go from, being 245 on stage to being 285 in the off season and still have optimal gut health. And you can see it in his stomach. Yeah. It's like he has abs at 285. It's unheard of. Yeah. And like, that's one thing that's been, we've discussed a lot is, he's had no digestion issues, none, zero in the last year.
That's great. And what is his protocol?
I don't know. I don't know, but I opened this drawer and there's more than vitamins than I can literally think of. I can imagine. But he's been on top of it. But I will say, both of us daily do take BPC 157 capsules every single day.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
Yeah.
My brother actually, talked more about the gut again. He's been having some issues with his gut. Yeah. More like probably some ulcers, all these things have been going on. He's constantly burping, yada, yada. He's now going to a specialist. But he came and stayed with us about 2 weeks ago. It was so bad that he was in like excruciating pain and he couldn't get into a specialist for like 2 weeks. So we just gave him BBC 157, and that's what he was just taking throughout the whole weekend, and just kind of being more, watching what he was eating, and he didn't have a single issue. Okay. He's like, what are you guys giving me? I'm like, well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah. But yeah. And I think it was just because he's been so inflamed for so long that it was helping with the inflammation, that he was just like, I feel better. Again, it's one of those things that it's like, he's nowhere near optimal. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying he probably has some serious issues going on. Sure. But the fact that he felt some decrease in inflammation and he immediately was like, oh, I feel great. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not even close to feeling great. But the fact that inflammation is, settled out a little bit, it was making him feel, huge difference.
And that's the benefit of BPC. And that's also maybe the downside of it.
Yeah.
Is that people find that relief. Because we used to, before we had the gut test, it was like gut issues, BPC, like get on BPC. And everyone finds relief with it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no one person that is like, yeah, I didn't see anything from that if they have gut issues. Crazy. But then it's like, well, we're kind of still putting a Band-Aid on it. Like, we're not correcting it. Mm-hmm. The BPC itself is not going to correct the problem. No. It's definitely going to help and, obviously alleviate some of those signs and symptoms that people are struggling with. But at the end of the day, you have to actually you have to test it. You have to know what you're trying to what you're trying to fix, and then ultimately develop a protocol that's personal to that. And that's another thing. There's no cookie cutter in the gut.
So in all, I think everyone struggles with inflammation. Every single human being.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good starting point for people to come forward and be like, hey, I need it.
Which is why the BPC is like probably the primary peptide everyone should be on regardless. Mm-hmm. So I do not disagree with that. I just think sometimes, you give someone something that gives you that relief. I mean, it's similar to, anything that we take. We need relief from a headache, so we're going to take this. Granted, BPC has pretty much no negatives. No, there's no downside to it. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, we still need to fix the problem. Like there still is a problem.
Now you're, since we're talking about it and it's just such a popular subject, injecting it versus taking it. I feel like there's a little misunderstanding with people because they don't understand that obviously taking it orally is going to be different than injecting it.
Yeah. And topical.
And of course, and topical. Injecting it, we recently had, actually it's been a few months and more than a few months, but Brett had a little hamstring injury that no one knew about. And literally that's all I was doing was injecting PPC and literally within the first week, night and day. Yeah. Night and day. Again, you're getting to the inflammation that just caused. Yep. And that was, then obviously we had tissue work. We did some things with him, but tremendously, night and day.
Did you do the thymosin beta too?
I don't know.
No. Yeah. Because
no, I think he did.
Those two with acute injuries.
He did.
Yeah.
And I was injecting right into the spot.
Yep. Spot injection. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what it does is there's not a ton of research on the spot injection itself. Mm-hmm. It makes the most sense.
I think mentally it manipulates people and people are like, okay, this spot injection. Right. Like I think also your brain is huge on healing you. Yeah. It
definitely can be. Yeah.
Manifesting it. Yep.
Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, if you think about the science behind it and the half-life of the BPC and the TB500, it makes sense that it would obviously hit that spot first and then it would, whatever else is still left over, it can be utilized in other areas, but it's going to go to one, the spot that you injected it, and then two, where the highest inflammation is.
Right.
So it makes the most sense as to like spot injecting being a solid option. But again, the injections will help with injury, recovery, acute injury, even chronic injury. I have knee problems and they're chronic knee problems. If I'm taking the BPC, if I'm taking BPC and then TB500 together, it's like night and day. Like I can do anything.
Wow.
When I'm off of it, I can't do anything. It's the most miserable.
Is it spot injecting or just taking it orally?
I take that injection. I'll do it like in like my stomach. I'll do it in normal areas, just a sub-Q.
Yeah, anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a night and day difference for chronic pain, acute pain, whatever. And then the capsules, it hits the gut first. So
that's great.
Yeah. It's obviously going to positively affect the gut if it's.
So most importantly, I think the takeaway from this podcast is getting your gut looked at. I think 100%. Like literally everyone, it is, and it's affordable. And I think that's like biggest thing for people nowadays. But it's like you can afford to spend the money to get your health in check. But I think that's the biggest takeaway. I want to really I have to keep pushing that is your gut. Even with clients, I'm like, man, I really have been missing out the last few years because that's not something I really push with clients because I didn't really have the right knowledge about it. And I didn't have my own personal experience with it either. But all in all, I want to push that is that people need to know the importance that, hey, it's the most simple thing that you can do for yourself that literally can change your whole life.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. That's a good takeaway.
Yeah. Great takeaway.